Do you need a drum
All
roll?
right. Okay, ladies and gentle babies. I firmly believe everyone has the alacrity within them, which is basically the shit they're passionate about. Alacrity stands for brisk, cheerful readiness. It's that energy when curiosity turns into a raging inferno. Now, because of that, my intention for the listener, for you, for the viewer, is to hopefully help you discover your own alacrity and or even just help you gain insight on your journey by hearing the amazing stories of other legends on that path. It's an excuse to connect with cool, like-minded people and really to get to know them on a deeper level through casual conversation and diving into their stories of their journey and what they've learned. Also, it's an organic way of creating content. You.
Hell yeah. Hey, have you got a clap thing?
You. I wasn't sure if I was recording, so I had to check.
I thought you had like a button where you could press it and then there's like an audience applause. Like, yay!
I should probably do that. Find that out.
Yeah. There we go. You see? Already iterating.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Our guest today is a perfect example of someone who embodies growth mindset, having that learner and service mentality. Born and bred skateboarding close to the pristine beaches of Hong Kong Island. In 2018, he graduated from Northeastern University in Boston with a degree in marketing and financing. Since then, he dove headfirst into the chaos, learning the ins and outs of marketing for companies such as Reebok and Havas Media Group. By the end of 2018, went back to his hometown as the marketing manager of the Hong Kong health and fitness company Warrior. In less than 2 years, he became the head of marketing for Warrior's sister company, Lights Out, leading the team in optimizing Facebook ad campaigns and developing guerrilla marketing tactics to foster word-of-mouth referrals, bringing to the moon results for the business. Then, by Feb 2020, he decided to drop everything to move to Sydney to start his own media company. Then, boom, COVID hits. Despite the madness of COVID, he adapts and builds and creates and builds several skills. He creates side hustles with his signature style shirts. He invests in himself with skills acquisition, taking up a heap of mentorship and self-development courses in storytelling and also Video Warrior. Since then, he's been unbinding his clients from time and space by telling their stories through and allowing them to connect with the people they're looking to serve and bringing them results in the process. He's a super optimistic and positive mindset guy, cherishing and valuing friendships and relationships the most. His worst enemy is house chores and would marry John Mayer any day. If you see him in person, make sure to stare at him because it freaks him out. Gerard Tam. Welcome to the podcast.
Whoa! Yo, you did your research, bro. I was not expecting that. Damn, bro. Damn.
Shout out to Fran.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fran.
Like, there must be some involvement here. Huh? I was like, oh, I didn't tell Chris all this stuff. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yo, you gotta send me that script so whenever I introduce myself to someone, I'll just recite that whole thing.
Just show this clip. Just cut up this clip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Video.
The
Power of video.
Use the video. Oh man. Okay. And I think that's it. That's the podcast.
All right, nice. That's all I needed. I just needed to get that sound bite, and then we're done.
But yeah, man. Jerry, I'm so honored you're here. Honestly, thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking your time. Sorry I'm late. I had daddy duties. But I'm really honored you're here. I'm grateful you're here. It's only been what? 5-6 months since we've known each other.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous. It feels like more than that, but it's probably only been 5-6 months. Because when did you get into Video Warrior?
Feb this year. It's 2021. So early March, Feb.
Early March. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little before you. I remember. I was like 2
Yeah.
months maybe before you. So
But
yeah.
Ever since we connected through Video Warrior, meeting each other there, man, it's almost like a long lost brother. You and Jason, especially
Brother
like,
from another mother.
there's so like a lot of warriors as well. I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm still like meeting a lot of people. The whole warrior community is amazing. Just the humans in there. But like you and Jason, man, it's like I've known you all my life. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is crazy, man. But thanks for having me, man. Like, I'm honored. I'm honored myself to be here, and I'm honored to be one of the first guests? Guests? Is that the term that they use for podcasts? Guests.
Welcome to the show.
But yeah, it's true. Brothers from other mothers. If we can say that.
Yeah, man. Dude, let's I really want to actually I didn't put it in your intro. I forgot to say it. It's written there, but I forgot to say it. Guitar. Dude, how'd that start? Like you're like I saw videos of you on like your personal IG and you're playing like doing all these licks and riffs. And I'm like, damn, this boy got skills. Like and Fran was even telling me like and I can see it for myself. You've got that learner mindset. Like everything you know, you're self-taught, right? Nothing's gonna stop you from learning something that you love. How did that start with you playing guitar?
Well, I mean, yeah. So when I started playing guitar when I was around like 6,
Damn.
right? And so I'll tell you a short story of how it started. Basically, my dad was really into music and rock music specifically. Ooh. So there would always be music in the car. There would always be a CD. And for the kids out there, a CD is something that we used to listen to music using. A disc, it doesn't have Touch ID.
I had cassettes, man. I had cassettes.
Yeah, cassettes too. But yeah, so we'd always have CDs in the car with music on. And my dad would have a collection of like concert DVDs. So one of them was Eric Clapton. Do you know Eric Clapton?
Yeah, man.
So of course, like Clapton is God, right?
Yeah.
So he had the One More Car, One More Rider concert, which was a live concert in like 2000 or something. And when he put that on for the first time, I watched Layla, right? The song Layla. You know that song? And
Layla.
Yeah. And then the guitar riff is like da 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 da. Yeah. So it's crazy because I remember that so vividly, seeing it for the first time. Like Eric Clapton facing the band. It's like dark, and the kind of music starts to rise, and he plays that first riff. And when he hit that first riff, I was like, oh. I was like, oh my God, that is so like epic. And like from that like first experience, I was like, I'm hooked. I want to learn guitar straight away.
And
I
where
was
did
like,
you start?
So I started learning classical because my parents were like, if you want to learn guitar, you have to do it the right way.
Okay.
So they got me a classical guitar teacher, and I started with that, learning like the fundamentals of like finger picking and stuff like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Really stuff that I hated because I just want to be Eric Clapton
shit. That's it.
I don't even know some classical guitarists, but I didn't want to learn classical guitar. But in retrospect, I'm really glad that I learned it because it gave me the base and the fundamentals that I needed. And then so after a couple, maybe 2-3 years of classical guitar, I finally got my first electric guitar. And then I got introduced to John Mayer from my sister.
Yep.
I heard his first album, Continuum. Not his first album.
I think that's still the best album. I don't know.
Me too. It's one of my
okay. That's my
I feel like a lot of a lot of
boom.
John Mayer,
I think I asked you this before, yeah.
geeks, yeah, they'll say the same thing. So I heard Bold as Love on Continuum, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So then I got hooked on John Mayer.
That whole album from start to finish is just like beautiful.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. So ever since then, I've been kind of hooked, and I actually kind of played with the idea of going into music after high school. So going into music engineering, music production.
Dude, same here,
and yeah, as you know, the biggest wall there is knowing how difficult the industry is.
Yeah, my mom was like, you're gonna unless you're like Michael Jackson, you're not gonna be earning money. I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll revert to my other passion.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it was. Or it was like revert to your other passion or just focus on school, which is what I did.
How did like I want to pick it apart a little bit more, cuz like I had the same passion with music when I was young. So but I didn't study classical. I didn't have any foundation. I don't know if you listened to the last one. Me and Kevin, we grew up together, and he was sharing how when we were kids. Oh, I don't think I posted that part because I recorded before the episode and I didn't post that part. He was talking about we're kind of like remembering when we were kids, and he was sharing that when I was younger, like actually he looked at it like, whoa, these guys are really into it, because we were like learning shit by ear. But it was more so like we didn't have the resources to learn, and we didn't have like a tutor to teach us. Yeah. So we were just like play, listen to it, find it on the fretboard, play, rewind. But like that process of learning and getting better and like, and then playing it and then like getting closer to how it actually sounds when you first heard it. How did that make you feel? Well,
yeah, I mean, so you're talking about like how like the quick learning thing came about, and how I just like, because I wasn't actually self-taught guitar.
Oh yeah, true.
I had a couple of tutors, but it wasn't like music theory or anything. They just taught me like really basic stuff like power chords and scales and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like the thing with the guitar was I had a really close friend as well who was also really into guitar. Actually a really good, like he's still a close friend of mine, and we used to do a lot of the same things. So we used to play rugby together, we used to play guitar together, we used to skate together.
Oh, nice. That's so another story.
We used to do we used to do a lot of things together, and one thing, like I probably never told him this, but because we would do a lot of the same things together, I would always compare myself to him, right? Inevitable as when you're a kid.
It's instinct.
Inevitable
it's instinct,
today, you know?
Yeah.
So we kind of made each other better just from, you know, kind of playing the same music, playing the same instrument. And I guess that kind of forced me to learn fast, I guess. It was kind of competitive nature.
Nice.
But yeah, just I don't know what it is.
Is it healthy?
Yeah.
Is it like healthy competition?
Yeah. It wasn't some like nasty shit where we like.
Well, like Jordan would just like make up anything to use it as an excuse. Like he'd just make stories in his own head to fire that fuel.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that really. 'Cause he was one of my best friends, so it was just like healthy, you know, friendly competition. But like it was like unspoken. So it's like we both know. We're like, he's a little better at this point, and then now I'm a little better.
And then you're gonna share each other's.
Yeah, but we share each other's success and stuff.
That's dope. Well, you said you guys were skateboarding together, and I'm kind of segueing into, because right now you're doing brand story videos, aka video business cards. And yours, like when you showed it to me and Jason for the first time, we were just like, damn, this is mind blowing. This is amazing. Like you're telling your story, and like those storytelling courses that you did really like shows, because the way you structured your brand story video, it was just beautiful in a sense that I like. When I watched it, like let's say I didn't know you before I watched it, and as soon as I watched that, I feel almost instantly connected to you. I know your history, and I know like the reason for why you do what you do, and because of that, like whatever it is that, like what you're providing me in terms of like what you're offering, I feel more connected because I don't know. It feels like you're talking to me directly, and that's the power of the story. And you used like a bit of that story when you were skateboarding in that video business card. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, about the story, or
Yeah,
like the actual thing, the actual story that happened. Yeah, I can share a little bit more. So yeah, basically the story, the reason why I jumped into video was because of an incident. Well, it was because of skateboarding, right? So I've been skateboarding my entire life, kind of as much as like there were two things in my life when I was a child. It was skateboarding and guitar, right? Yep. Those were really pretty much the only two things I cared about, in terms of like, you know, hobbies and stuff.
Really into it.
Yeah. So skateboarding was always there, and I would spend every weekend skateboarding with my friends. But there was a problem early on, was that none of us wanted to film. And the thing with skateboarding culture is that you film everything, right? You film your adventures, you film your days out on the streets, you film all these tricks that you've been trying for months, weeks, to get.
Damn.
And then you try to capture that moment. And then you post it wherever. Like there was really no outlet for us. It was just like post it just because you can, and just because you're proud to call it your own. But the problem was none of us liked filming, right? Because we all wanted to be skating, and we were selfish. We were a little selfish. I don't want to say the word, but you know, we're a little selfish brats. So we all wanted our tricks to be filmed. And I just remember this one day where my friend Alex was filming. Well, he wanted to get a trick for himself, and he'd been trying to get this trick for maybe a couple of days, you know, days back to back over a weekend. And this one day I happened to be filming, because we would just pass around the camera, you know, to be fair. So I was filming, minding my own business. He's like trying, and you know, with skateboarding, there's like so many attempts, right? So being the filmer, you kind of sit there and you just wait. So it's very easy to kind of just like, oh, that's a nice bird over there, or like, oh, who's that over there, or like not pay attention, right? Especially if that's not your job. Like it wasn't my job to get his stuff, you know. So the moment he landed it, I can't remember exactly what happened, if the camera glitched or I got distracted and something happened. I don't remember exactly, but I completely missed the shot when he landed it. Ooh. And everyone was celebrating, like, oh my god, Alex, that's sick, like you're so dope, and like everyone's high-fiving each other and everything, giving each other hugs, like that's what you do when you land a trick, you know. And then I look back at the footage and I see that I just missed it, and I was like, oh fuck, like he's gonna kill me. So when I showed him, sorry.
Go ahead, show it.
So when I showed him, or I told him, I was like, dude, I missed the shot. Can you do it again? And I was like kind of trying to act like nonchalant about it and like casual about it, like, oh dude, I missed a shot. Like let's try get it again while you're still warm, you know? But I just remember his face was just, he's just looking at me like with this death stare. And this guy is like he's a really kind, he's like one of the sweetest guys I've known. And like he wouldn't say anything rude or mean to anyone. Very polite, respectful guy. And I just remember those eyes. He was just like looking at me like, "Are you serious?" And I just remember that look. So yeah,
real.
so what the part of the story that I didn't mention, just for dramatic effect, was we did end up going back to shoot the same trick, and we got it.
Yeah.
But the thing was that it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I remember us talking about it when he got it the second time. We were like, it's not the same. Like, it doesn't feel as good. The moment's passed, right? Like, even though it's the same trick, it's not the same emotions and feelings. So kind of from that day, I was like, okay, well, I kind of got hooked on filming, and I started filming more than skateboarding. So that's kind of when I realized, like, oh, video is it's not just something you play around with. You know, you're capturing stories, you're capturing moments that you can't afford to miss. You know, because you know, as we know now, if it's not documented, it might as well not have happened, right? We can only remember so many things. So that's kind of why I got back into video. Well, I got into video, and that's kind of why I'm still doing it today.
I want to, because like for myself as well, you know, I was really into music, and you know, my mom was like, no, which rightfully so, because at the time it's really difficult, and like to kind of excel in that field, if you're not like super talented or whatever, or but let's say like someone out there is probably really into like skateboarding, or just like whatever art, like anything creative, like art that people usually would think, or would commonly think that, hey, you're not going to really make a living out of this. You got to get a job, you know. But it really makes them feel alive, right? Like it made you feel alive when you were doing the skateboarding and playing guitar. Like, it was that feeling inside of you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably...
No, that's, pretty accurate.
Because when I was playing music, like, I was just like having the best time of my life. I was playing music with my friends. We were in this band. We were in this little screamo band. Kevin was like one of the screamers. He was a screamer. I was like, I think I showed you that video. But like, what kept you going? What kept you like despite what people would think, or what society would deem like, okay, you're not really gonna make a living out of this. What kept you like pushing towards it? Like, cause like obviously like you went to sorry, it's a bit heavy. It's hard. Like
no.
When you went to uni, right? You went to uni for marketing and finance. Can you tell us a little bit more about what led you to make that decision to study marketing and finance?
Yeah. So I guess there's kind of two parts to the question. So I'll answer the first one, and then
sorry,
remind me about the second one. But no, I have answers for both. Well, I guess with doing things you love and like really passionate for, to the point where you just dive deep and you don't look back. So like you with the music, right? And chefing for you. It's kind of like that for me, skateboarding, guitar, filming. Mm-hmm. What kept me going, one, was really just my raw passion for it. Like waking up, like being able to get out of bed and being like, I want to do that. I want to pick up the guitar, or being inspired by someone that you idolize or that you follow. So like that is kind of just innate, and you know, it's not something that wasn't like,
it's your alacrity.
Yeah, it's the alacrity, right? I was like, oh, it's there. I just want to do it. You know, you don't have to ask me. I'll just fucking do it.
You're ready.
But I guess from a more like, if I were to analyze it, looking back, skateboarding actually taught me a lot about this, and it's really cool because I actually subconsciously do a lot of things today and make a lot of decisions based on what I used to be like when I was skateboarding. So with skateboarding, it's a never-ending journey, right? It's not like you win at skateboarding, right? You just consistently get better. You get better at doing better tricks. You get more skilled at certain obstacles and stuff. It's a never-ending journey, right? So every time you land a trick, you're leveling up, right? It's like a little win, right? You work step by step, right? You practice this trick every day until you land the trick you want the way you want it. So it's kind of like that what's the word? It's that feeling, the buzz of working and chipping away at something and then finally hitting it and then looking for the next thing and be like, oh, I want to do this next because you just landed something dope. And
describe this buzz. Elaborate this buzz. I know what you're talking about, but I really wanted. But I know what you're talking about. Like it's that feeling when you're like, okay, I haven't got it yet, but like I know I'm closing in on it. Like it's that feeling, and just the process of that actual thing of getting better or learning something and just doing it. Okay, iterating and getting better. That whole like little bubble. You almost create a bubble within yourself where you can, that like. Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to describe it.
I don't know. I don't know what the word is, but I remember listening to I think it was Tobias Lucky. Do you know who Tobias Lucky is?
No.
He's the CEO of Shopify.
Okay.
So the e-com, basically the e-com website builder.
Yeah.
I was listening. I think it was him. I was listening to a podcast of him on Tim Ferriss' podcast.
Ooh,
and basically he was explaining how we live in boxes, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially that's all we're doing. We live in boxes. So if our box is like, for example, for skateboarding, my box that's my limit of what I can do as a skateboarder, right?
Yeah.
So I may be able to do this trick. I may be only comfortable going down this obstacle, like this many stairs, for example. I may be only comfortable with, basically those things, right? Those are really the only things that you need to be worried about in skateboarding. That's your box. And he keeps talking about how you have to know where your box is, but you have to be able to look past the box. Like if you stay in your box, it's just you're comfortable in that box, right? So it's not about like getting to like, it's not trying to skip to a bigger box. You're trying to just go outside that little box that you're in. So you're trying to push out of your box just a little bit, right? So for skateboarding, if it's, for example, I'm really good at skating a set of 4 stairs, then my next little box outside of that is like, okay, let's try this trick on a 5 set. Let's try this trick on a 6 set. Let's try this trick down a 7 set. And you just keep going and you keep chipping away. And, months later, you're doing that trick down a 10 set. But if you were to look at it from that point where you're in your little box of that 4 set and you look at a 10 set, you're like, that's impossible. Because the leap is way too big. So it's like, I think Jack Butcher, right? He probably did a diagram on this. But like, there's like a ladder. There's like a ladder, and you see these 2 ladders, and one of them has many, many small steps, ladder steps, and the other one has like some big, huge steps. And obviously, you're going to go for the one with the smaller steps, right?
Yeah.
That's the. I think that's what we're talking about, right? Like. Yeah,
absolutely. It's similar to Stephen Kotler's description of the flow state. Sorry, OG is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I don't know if I butchered that. Yeah, because it's Russian, I think. Is he Russian? I'm not sure. But like being challenged enough that it doesn't overwhelm you, but at the same time it's out of your comfort zone, as you said.
Yeah.
you kind of get into that flow state. And I was also listening to another podcast. It was I think it was Lex Friedman, dude. That guy. It's actually the first time I heard of him. Heard his podcast, and he was talking with Joko Willink, and he asked him, Joko, like, I'm butchering it, okay, but like it's something along the lines that, because you're a leader and it's crucial to make decisions, and especially decisions quickly, right? To make decisions quickly in the moment, in the fly, especially in the heat of battle, because he's a U.S. Navy SEAL. So how are you able to make those decisions quickly? And what Joko said was he was actually cheating. He said, I don't really know that what the decision I'm making is the right or the wrong decision. He makes the best educated guess he can in the moment with the information he has, but he only makes one small decision first, or step. Mm-hmm. He makes that decision, gets the feedback from what's happening, and makes another educated guess and makes another decision, but he does that so fast that it looks like he's made a decision quickly, like and he already knew that it was correct, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I heard that, I was like, whoa, boom.
Yeah. I've heard of Jocko Willing, and Tim Ferriss also has an interview with him. I never checked out his stuff, but I know there's a lot of gold there.
Dude, he's a walking guy. Like, he talks in mantras, even though he doesn't want to admit it. Like,
yeah.
If you like buy his books or read his books, listen to his audiobooks, it's like even just the titles, Extreme Ownership. That's his like first book, I think. Dichotomy of Leadership. Like that, those two words are already like a mantra. I love his philosophy and his mindset and the stories that he shares. Anyway, I kind of blabbered there.
We tend to do that when we talk, huh?
Yeah, but I think we're kind of sharing things that will hopefully benefit whoever's listening. Because like right now we're in the age of the internet, the digital age. It's hard to focus on one thing. There's so many options out there. You can literally Google anything and everything in this world. Like if you were like someone who's starting out, like I don't know what the fuck I want to do. There's so much shit out there. But like I know I need to find my box and kind of stay there. But like I guess what I'm trying to ask is, how were you able to decide, okay, I'm going to study marketing and finance for the moment? Like,
oh yeah, that was the second part. That was the second question. I just remembered. I was like, oh, we got to get back to that.
Yeah.
There we go. So it was quite a tough decision, and actually, it was a decision I didn't actually make. It kind of fell in my lap, really, because as I told you, I had thought about going into music production, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do, production, like kind of being there to produce the music for musicians, not being the actual musician,
Yeah. My cousin studied that.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Audio engineering, was it?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Okay.
Audio engineering, music production. There's a bunch of names for it. But so I actually applied to a couple of music schools, and not too many, because there are only a couple. Well, one, my SAT score wasn't that great, so I couldn't have applied to all the best ones. So I kind of went for ones that were in my reach. I mean, I did have some stretch ones, like Berklee College of Music, which is like one of the most renowned.
That's John Mayer's one, right?
Yeah, that's the John Mayer one. So I applied there. I applied to NYU Steinhardt, which is an art school in NYU, and then maybe like one or two other ones in some other states. So I was pretty set on America because my sister was there.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
kind of as like that was my goal. Like I wanted to go into music production, and if I got into any of those schools, I probably would have gone. But I didn't because they're super competitive, and actually Berkeley messed up my application, so I had to defer my application to the next semester. So
Oh God.
I didn't go with Berkeley. So who knows? Maybe they would.
Did you get approved?
No, I didn't get approved. They said they had to defer my application, so I'd have to reapply the next semester.
Oh, damn! I thought they'd just do it automatically because they messed up.
No. I don't know. I don't even know what happened. But they said something about like the applications you applied and the applications were closed or something online or some bullshit.
System error.
But who knows? Like,
Who knows? Who knows?
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So, I didn't go to a music school, and I also had a bunch of backup schools in business, marketing, and finance because I've always been creative, and to go the safe route for me and still kind of enjoy it at the same time was going into something like marketing. The finance thing was kind of an add-on later. So I went into school as a marketing major, and I got into Northeastern, and I got into, what's it called? UBC in Vancouver, both for marketing. And I decided to go to Northeastern because it was in Boston, so that's closer to my sister who was in Pennsylvania. And they had something called a co-op program, which is basically 6-month short-term internships built into your curriculum.
Oh, that's great.
So
I feel like you'll learn more with the internship.
So Northeastern, I think to this day, that's their biggest selling point. I think they have one of the best internship programs in the world. So yeah, it just kind of fell in my lap because I didn't get into any music schools, and those were the only two out of all the other business schools I got into. So
as you said, like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a blessing in disguise as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I ended up loving marketing. Like, I remember early on, like freshman year of college, I started, I found Gary Vee. And, I
mean,
mean,
like, fuck school.
Yeah. He was his content at the time was all about like business and fuck school. Like you can side hustle something. You can build a business for yourself. So I was like, oh, I fucking love this stuff. So he got me into marketing through his content more than my interest in the actual courses I was taking.
There you go.
So
shout out Gary.
Yeah, shout out Gary, Uncle Gary.
Uncle Gary. No, for real. Even before I came across Gary's content, I kind of intuitively knew that school wasn't really for me. Like I was in uni for hotel and restaurant, whatever management bachelor's degrees, like a 3 or 4 year course. But I knew I wanted to be a chef. Like I didn't need to learn everything. So I left that and I did a culinary school, which was shorter and I can get out faster. But the thing and also the selling point for me with that school was like they did 50-50, where it's like 50 theory and then 50% you're actually in the kitchen and learning. Because that's for me, in the way I learn, I like to dive deep, dive into it and then learn on the spot, learn on the spot, rather than kind of just analyzing the theories and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're important, from a foundational standpoint, to know certain things and to have that information. But I can't remember who said it, but the most information-rich piece of that you can get is failure. When you fail, that's if you look at it from a standpoint. Like Errol Gerson, right? First attempt in learning. FAIL. Like that. There's so much you can learn from failing, and that's why you can't even call it failing. It's just the reframing of the mind.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit more about like after you got out of school, were there any failures or learnings that happened along the way when you were working for Reebok and all these amazing like ad agencies and media companies, working in marketing for them? Another beautiful segue, by the way.
Failures. No, that's a good segue. I like that. But failures along that journey. Well, there's not really any that come to mind during school.
Learnings.
Yeah, learnings. I mean,
no, out of school.
It was
like
more
you're
of
working
like,
now.
Oh, like
Internship.
I'm working now. Oh, well, those internships were still part of school. So I was still technically in school when I was, so my first co-op internship was 6 months at Havas Media, which is like one of the biggest ad agencies in the world. And I joined, I guess this could be a failure. But basically the first semester that I applied, I didn't get any internships. No one accepted me. And that's actually quite rare because the co-op pool is very large. So like as in there are a lot of businesses that are offering co-op programs. Yeah. Right? So I was shocked and I was like disappointed because I was like, am I fucking dumb or something? Like no one like is my resume that ugly that
it's always the case, like they want experience. How am I gonna get experience? That's why I'm applying for
like, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, what do you want me to do, man? Like I'm just a sophomore in college. So yeah, the first semester I didn't get any, so I was really disappointed. And I was like downing myself
what she said.
a lot.
Sorry.
I see where this is going, this podcast.
When you said I didn't get any, I'm like, oh, I have to. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have fun with Jason.
Oh, dude, me and Jason is going to go wild. Like, it's wild. Our first talk, it was already, like, the first time we had our conversation, it was like, we talked for over 2 hours, I think. And that was the first time we ever met. Through Zoom, anyway.
You guys did a content conversation, didn't you?
Yeah. And we didn't even plan the content. We just like, hey, let's just connect. Yeah. I mean, that's like dope. Record it like what we did first, you and me. Yeah. When we first met, because I remember you were messaging me. Have you ever done something like this? I'm like, no, but I should.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm derailing. Continue with your story.
You digress.
Yeah.
So I basically didn't get the first round of co-ops, but then a weird thing happened was the second round of co-ops. So the second semester that I reapplied, I didn't get any again. So I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, what's wrong with my what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my resume? Like, is it really that am I really that inexperienced? Like, is there nothing there that kind of works for anyone, any of those companies? And literally the last day.
Do they interview in the process?
Yeah, it's like you're applying for a job, basically.
Yeah, but so like they didn't even schedule you for an interview?
Which
like nothing? Like you said, you didn't get any. So
I got a bunch of interviews. I just didn't get any of the jobs.
Right. Okay.
So, but which is rare because most of my peers all got co-ops. They all got accepted somewhere, even if it was just a shit place, Weird thing happened was the last day to hear back from any companies. Havas Media, who I applied to the first time around and interviewed for, they got back to me the second semester. I didn't even apply to them the second semester. But they remembered me from the first semester, and they were like, "Hey Gerard, like just reaching out. Sorry you didn't get in. Sorry that we didn't accept you the first semester, but we were actually going to we just ran out of spots for our co-op program or something like that, or something happened on the back end where they couldn't accept more people. But they were actually interested in hiring me. Would you be interested in being a part of our co-op program this semester? And I was like, oh my God. Literally the last day that anyone could hear back, I got accepted to them. So but I digress too. That's basically the story.
No, I know that feeling. It's like you're waiting. It's like, oh my God, come on.
Yeah. It was so shocking. But that first co-op experience was good. I learned a lot. Actually, on the job, my supervisor left the company, so I had to step up. It's weird how this stuff keeps happening.
That's awesome.
To me. So I had to step up.
I mean, not for him, but like for you to learn.
Yeah. So it was actually a she. So she left.
Oh, sorry. Her.
Like 3 months into my internship. So I had to step up because they were like, we don't have anyone else to hire. We don't have, like, you need to step up into this position. Can you do this? So her supervisor above her was like, can you fill this position as a co-op? And I'm like, sure. Like, I mean, you're not giving me much option. Like, it's either, I don't, or you guys, can't fill the position. So I had to step up. And I learned a ton of shit about, media buying and ad placing. And I ended up, really quickly becoming like an integral part of the team. But
I'm curious,
culture,
just from
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. The culture.
No, just saying, like, it was great in terms of learning because I was forced to learn really fast, but the culture was just horrible.
I see.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, but ad agencies are notorious for having really bad work culture.
That's what I was going to ask, actually. Yeah, I was just curious because I've never really worked in an ad agency. I've heard stories, but why would you say they're notorious for that culture? Because it's very competitive?
Yeah, there's a lot of internal competition, like almost like cannibalism.
Okay. I kind of get it now.
I don't know why, but like I've heard somewhere that ad agencies have the highest turnover in employees out of any other industry. People are just constantly bouncing around from agency to agency. And I don't know why.
It's a corporate jungle.
Like, yeah, it's just everyone's super competitive.
Similar to the kitchen, like chefs, like in general, like the culture in kitchens are very
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I was working in Dubai once, and I don't want to shit on my previous employers, but
pull it back, Chris.
No, but like the culture in the kitchen is also like it's really competitive. It's not like back then. It's probably changing now with the times because you can't stay that way any longer. You're not attracting new people in. And I'm very blessed to have worked with a lot of teams that are like the synergy was there, but I was also on the other side where it's like not as good, and it's tough. It's challenging. It's challenging to be in that environment. So you gotta really have where it's not really set up for you to thrive. Let's say it's it's like, but. I always looked at it as challenges. So what do I have to learn, or how do I adapt? How do I improve in this area so that, it would help in wherever I can. So yeah,
I think maybe it's just because these types of institutions, if you can even call them that, I don't know if a kitchen counts. But anytime there's a really explicit hierarchy, that's where culture starts. That's where they start sacrificing on culture.
Yeah, well, I was in a kitchen of I was in a kitchen of like 300 or 400 chefs, dude. It was like it's Intercontinental Hotels Group. I don't know if you've heard of them, IHG.
Yeah.
So Intercon, Crown Plaza, the golf course, and like the long staying suite. So it's like 4 properties together. And so you've got executive chef, and you've got executive sous chef, and you got junior executive sous chef, and there's so many junior executive sous chefs for each outlet, and then you got senior chef de partie. So there's like a lot of in-betweens to create that hierarchy and build that system. So as you said, once it gets to a certain extent, it's hard to maintain. It's challenging to maintain a culture that would be, but honestly, they actually did implement things in their training programs to help improve that culture. But I think it's more of a case to case. Like, it can be great in one place, even though you're in the same, because it's such a big place. So it's always a case to case.
Yeah.
So it's like your direct colleagues.
Yeah. So I think that's it. It's like anywhere, because most all companies will have some sort of hierarchy, but it was very different in Reebok, because the hierarchy, it wasn't like you have one vertical line up from the assistant manager or something like that, right? Where you start off as an entry level role, and there's like a straight line where there's like a manager, then there's a supervisor, then there's director, blah blah blah, right? When there's an explicit hierarchy like that, that's where like politics come in, right? Where people are like, well, I'm superior to you, so you have to listen to me, and technically, if you're looking cross-functionally, I'm superior to them because of this person, that person, that person. That wasn't what it was like at Reebok. So, and that's the sort of same thing in the kitchen, right? You have, I don't know, you have the line cooks, and then the sous chef, and then there's like this big, right?
There's more actually.
I don't know how
call me 3, call me 2, call me 1, demi chef, chef de partie.
Exactly. And then I think it's like that in hospitality. Like, if you look at, I know a lot of my friends, they went into hospitality, and where you start in hospitality is you start as the bellboy, right? Like everyone has to start as a bellboy, or whatever you want to call it, doorman, whatever. And then they build their way up. But that's how the culture is. And that's why there's so much, you hear the same sort of stories, like there's so much politics in hospitality, and it's not a great like place to work in terms of culture. So
no, it's fun though.
That's how
it's
it
fun.
is. Yeah.
One of the best times of my life when I was working as a chef. And I met my wife while I was doing it, so ever grateful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she was it's
was she your boss?
No. She was working. We were part of the opening team of IHG, one of the hotels there, and it's funny because like we were already 2 months into opening, and we still haven't seen each other, and it was just that one time I was helping out in the events kitchen, and I saw her coming up the stairs. It was like slow motion. Who's that girl? Anyway, I don't know.
Her hair is like whipping in the air. You're like, same.
picking up an order, and she's like had this smile. She had this like alacrity. Anyway, dude, like I want to learn a little bit more about, because I'm just curious about your marketing experience. Like, you worked for Warrior, and you like in less than 2 years you became head of marketing, and you kind of like off camera you were sharing me a little bit of the stories of like you experimenting with Facebook ads and bringing results and trying different things, and in that process of learning how to eventually achieve those results, was there a point where you felt like you were in the unknown?
Yeah. A lot of the times, man. Like,
damn.
Yeah. I mean,
how'd you manage that? Like, how, for yourself personally, and maybe for someone who's probably in a situation where they feel like they're in the unknown, but they're trying to achieve a certain result. What was your thought process? What were you feeling? What was going through you? Like, what were you going through?
Yeah, well, it's actually funny because, as I said earlier, this thing keeps happening to me where I get into jobs and my superior suddenly disappears. So that's kind of what happened. I joined Warrior because I just got back to Hong Kong from the US and I wanted a job. And I actually applied as a receptionist because I was just like, I just need to get some money, so I got to start somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
So I got in and I was like, hey, I want to be a receptionist. And they were like, no, you're overqualified to be a receptionist. We're going to see if we can build a marketing manager role for you. So in the end, they did. So I joined in as a marketing manager, and the marketing director above me, she was the only one there, and she was handling all the marketing. And like a couple months in to working for Warrior, she decided to change jobs.
Right.
So same thing happened again.
Same thing happened, yeah.
Yeah, where
you gotta step up.
The director of the whole operation was like, "Do you want to step up?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to step up."
Let's go.
But I didn't know anything because I'd just been learning this stuff. So same situation, and so he was like, "Do you want to step up?" We've also got our separate business, our sister business that's relaunching in a new location, and we need help, creating buzz for that. So he was like, "Do you wanna head that division?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I want to do that." So, but to answer your question, because I feel like I'm not really answering your questions here.
Yeah, you've been placed in a situation where you need to step up. You took up the challenge. Now you've accepted the challenge. You're placed in the unknown, right?
Yeah,
and for some people, it's either fuck, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna fold. What kept you in the game until you achieved those results?
Well, one was my interest in marketing.
Yeah.
Because I got out of school, and I'm not gonna hate on college. I'm not gonna do the whole Gary Vee thing, But basically, what business school taught me was analysis paralysis, right? Like
that's what they taught you.
School taught me to overanalyze things,
to overanalyze everything,
to not experiment and to not
assess
execute
every risk.
Stuff. Yeah, right. So I got out of school with that education, and I go in here and I'm like in this unknown, like what the hell do I do? But here there's a business to run, like these guys are counting on me.
There you go.
The investors, the founder, they're counting on me to keep the operation up and running. So I had to do a lot of learning myself. So I went back home. I'd do a lot of overtime, learn Facebook ads at home, watch a lot of YouTube on, general marketing concepts, study Gary Vee stuff real deep. I dive deep into his business content.
His ad agency, actually, I started following them on Instagram.
It's some really good stuff. He did this like digital 4Ds, like the digital deep dive.
Yep. I watched them too.
Yeah, there's so much good information there. So I just studied up on that, and I went back and I applied it straight away. And then as we said, like you're in this box of what in this box of, okay, I know some marketing concepts from school. I kind of followed Gary Vee for a bit, so I understand basic philosophies. But now the execution of Facebook ads, the execution of campaigns and stuff, I have no clue what I'm doing. So you got to get out of that little box, right? So I have some ad budget. I'm going to try it. I'm not going to spend it all in one go because I've never tried it before. And I'm going to experiment with different ad types and kind of apply my knowledge from what I've learned from my YouTube university and see what works, and then keep iterating and stuff. And then by the end of it, I was, in like 3-4 months, I was building out, huge campaigns where we were spending, these are probably not big budgets but for this company, there are big budgets around like maybe $2,000 US dollars, $2,000 US dollars every month, something like that. Maybe
this was back in like 2018, 2019.
Yeah. So I got out of school 2018, 2019. Yeah.
So 2019. It's recent.
Yeah, like it's recent.
Dude, it's like just last night.
Yeah, man. Like if you threw me into I mean, I'm actually managing ads right now.
Nice.
For someone back home.
For clients. Okay, cool.
But yeah, like I had to pick it up recently, and it's just like once you know ads, like I mean the algorithm and the platform is constantly changing, but once you know it, you can.
Yeah.
Once you know the fundamentals, it's pretty plug and play.
Now, real quick, I just want to know for myself what worked the best. Was it photo? Was it video?
Let me think about this. Let me check. Let me check my notes. Of course, of course, it was video. No bias whatsoever. No bias whatsoever. The market decided, right? I mean, it is true.
Setting it up. You know, it's true. It's true.
Everything, yeah. Like to be completely honest, everything that I did, all the impact that I actually created for that business, all revolved around video marketing, which is why I'm doing it today, because I know it actually impacts.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of trying to segue it to what you're doing now. In the space of video, what is it? What is in that space that really sets a video apart?
So many things.
The one that stands out the most.
Well,
what separates a normal video to a video that will really stand out? I know it's a lot. I know because I work with video as well. But what's the like kind of the one that really stands out the most that every video needs for it to be sort of like effective in a way?
Yeah. Can I give two though?
Yeah. Okay. Two. Sorry. I'll give you a chance.
Two. Okay. First one is the messaging, right? So it's what you're saying in the video. It's the story you're telling. And we know how big of a buzzword that word is, storytelling. But if you understand it from a conceptual standpoint and understand true storytelling frameworks and how it works on consumer psychology, that's like up there, right? First one, so messaging, storytelling. The second one is strategy and distribution, right? Because there's so many things there's so many types of videos you can make. I mean, like there's millions of videos you can make, but if you don't know how to use it to create impact or create change in your business, then what are you spending on video for, right? You know, I mean, those are the two things that I in my business value, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
And us, you know, as video warriors, this is what we all know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's turned into a passion. It's like, cause like, in the beginning, video for me was like, I want to make shit look nice. You know, I'm doing it to make a beautiful looking video. And it was it came from a selfish standpoint. And some people would say, hey, that's just normal because, you know, you're starting out. You want to create cool looking videos. But when you touch on like since Video Warrior and kind of having so many paradigm shifts and being able to provide a video where it's not just, okay, here's the video, I'm out, but here's the video, let's actually reverse engineer the goal or the results or the problem that we're trying to solve, right? So let's work at it from there, and this is where the strategy and distribution comes into play. Because you're not just creating a video, you're creating a video that's intentional to connect with like the people that the business or your client is looking to serve.
Yeah, pretty much. That's 100% it. I mean, like this is I always talk about this is like I was the same as you when I first started with video. Like in skateboarding, we want to make ourselves look good, right? It's like it's at the end of the day, it's our own selfish interest. Like we want to express ourselves creatively, and we want to put our art out there, and we want people to see it and appreciate it. But that mindset is so dangerous when you're bringing that into a business setting, because now it involves someone else's investment, someone else's money, right? They're investing in you. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to a business and you still have that same mindset of, I want to create a piece that's going to look good in my portfolio, which I did, and a lot of videographers
Yeah.
I'm sure out there still do. That's dangerous.
I mean, that's also another side. Like, of course, you want to create pieces that lead you to like it's like a growth, but that shouldn't be the main thing.
Yeah, that shouldn't be driving the conversation. At the other day,
no, absolutely.
If you're going into a
It's a
conversation with a
byproduct.
business owner and you're like, I want to create this really cool looking thing, and I don't want you to tell me anything about your business and where you're trying to go. I just want to create this really cool thing for you because it'll be cool for me. It'll be kind of cool for you. Like, why not? You know.
And some clients want that actually. Like some clients would come up and be like, "Hey, I seen you create these cool looking videos. Can you create these cool looking videos for me?" And then a lot of the times, like, I would actually say no, because not really say no, but would revert back to, okay, I can do that, but what is it actually that you're trying to achieve? What is it actually? What are the goals that you're trying to? What do you want to achieve by the creation of this video? Like,
yeah,
it's we're creating a video here, but that's not the main. It's just a tool to achieve what it is that you actually want. It's yeah.
I mean, it's video with purpose. Like, you have to. That's the strategy part of it, right? Is like,
exactly.
We're gonna create this video, but what's the goal? What's the objective of this video? What's the purpose of it?
Oh man.
Can I just say?
Ahead,
I'll just say one more thing. Is like. Actually, never mind. I blanked.
Sorry.
I was like, wait, I did have something to say, but fuck. I just like looked out the window. I was like, oh, that's a light flashing over there, and I just blanked. It'll come back to me.
It's the goldfish, like
yeah. It's the goldfish. It's the 9 seconds.
It's the internet, man. Like, it's hard to manage, especially now, the attention span of people.
Yeah.
It's really short, and I've been guilty as well. Like, ever since I've like gone consuming a lot more TikTok, because it's messed up my brain. Everything there is designed for you to, oh wow, like it like hooks you in.
It's a slot machine, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's a slot machine. So it's
Yeah. No, I was
you remember?
I remembered, but we can get back
ahead.
to it. Okay.
No, it's fine.
Sure?
I was just like, yeah.
No, what I wanted to talk about was, we always say this, like, you don't just need a cool looking video, right?
Yeah.
And yes, that's true, but you also have to acknowledge what is the person you're working for? What is the person that's investing in this video looking for? Because sometimes a cool looking video might be the right thing for this business. True. Because either they might have they already have a marketing strategy that they've been developing for years now in place, where they need that cool looking video to kind of add to their ecosystem, to kind of funnel the machine, right? And in that case, then for sure, go and create a cool looking video. Like, sometimes like these sizzle reels and hype reels are useful for like promotion, right? So if you run an ad to a sizzle reel and you make your gym look really cool, or for example, like video tours for real estate agents or home builders or something, like, you're making yourself look cool, but that's just to capture attention and generate interest. But if you don't have that system in place, if you don't have that funnel or distribution strategy in place, that's where it's like, okay, well, what are you making this cool looking video for? Right? Because we can make a cool looking video, but if you're just going to throw it up on social media and just like, please, I want like 1,000 views, I want 50 likes, and I want 10 calls booked or something, like, it's not going to happen. So that's what I want to say.
To add on to that, like, I actually want to question, because I feel like, let's say, the common perception of what video is and what it can do for you is, I feel like we're still just kind of touching the surface. Tip of the iceberg, so to say, like, in a sense that most people would just look at a video because they've seen stuff like other videos from other people.
Yeah.
But that's not the only way that you can use video. Like, as you said, the sizzle reels and grabbing attention. But like, you can also, like, right now we're having a conversation,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna cut this up. I'm gonna make like little bits and pieces here and there, but it's not necessarily to it's not specific. I'm losing my train of thought to a certain thing. It's more so trying to capture pieces within our conversation that hopefully brings value to the listener.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think what we're doing here is we're solving problems, and that's business in general, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much problem solving, and actually, Tam, oh, what's his name?
Tam Tang.
Tam Chang.
Yeah. My long lost brother.
Yeah.
Tam
I was
Chang?
I replied to one of his stories because he was talking about how you're gonna get. I asked him, how does one bring actual value to your potential clients, to whoever's listening, and it's like you educate them on their problem. So I guess that's kind of like the first step, right? So I feel like with video, we're still educating people with what video can do for you.
Yeah. Through video.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm mumbling now.
You're educating people about their video problems through video. Right? That's what we're doing. Yeah, it's true. It's about, I mean, I can't remember who said it, but I think it may be Errol Gerson, actually. But he was saying something like, selling is not selling a product or service. Selling is educating your client on what you're excited about, basically. Trying to get them excited, educating them on your service and getting them excited about what you're excited about. It's not about selling a product or service, really, right? So, yeah.
Sorry, I missed the guy switched headphones.
No, that's good. But yeah, it's like it's so true that I wanted to touch on that point because I feel really strongly about this. About businesses kind of putting what they see out, what they see other people doing on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
So Gary Vee, I can't remember if you saw my my story rant I did one time.
Which one?
I stumbled on a Gary Vee kind of keynote thing where he was talking about subjective creative. And he was talking about this idea that these big brands often employ ad agencies to create these big branded campaigns. And these ad agencies, in an attempt to hit the KPIs that they've stipulated in their contracts, right?
Oh, wow.
They're funneling huge amounts of production money into these big box productions that end up just being subjective creative. So these big branded story pieces that, yes, there's story behind them and there's intent behind them, but a lot of the time it's very abstract conceptual stuff that at the end of the day, the end consumer will only see as a big branded, nice looking campaign, and they won't even understand what it means. So he was saying there's kind of a bad, a hurtful loop that happens in this industry where because the ad agencies want to keep their contracts intact, they just keep on funneling money into these big box productions. And these businesses keep putting these types of ads out there, these big branded campaigns, conceptual and subjective creative campaigns. And then small businesses like us, or small businesses like the people we work with, see those big branded campaigns
Look
and
up to
see
it.
the subjective creative, and they're like, I want
Yeah,
that.
I want this.
I want that thing that didn't make any sense to me for my business. Right? And they put that big box production on a pedestal. So then they start spending on big production companies. They think they have to start spending like 20K on a single video project. And they have to have the nice cinema camera. They have to have a huge team and, gaffers and assistants and people like working behind the scenes. They think they need that for their business. But that subjective creative piece that ends up being their campaign does really nothing for them. Just generates some buzz and that's it.
Man. Well, it's the system set up that way because of but I feel like the times are changing. The power is shifting. I've been listening to a lot of Tom Boyd, and I actually took up his course, his creator course, and because he works for $1 billion company. He's also like a production manager. He creates content. He's been creating content for a while, and he's really like trying to lead the charge for creators in a sense that where it used to be you go from the brand, then goes to the ad agency, the brand reaches out to the ad agency reaches out to the production house, and then makes the creative, right?
Yeah.
And now the creators, like, if you have a personal brand and you're a creator, like you and me, we're kind of sort of heading in. I feel like for myself, I'm heading towards that direction where you can almost go directly to the brand if you've created your own personal brand in your own audience, in your own following. I'm going on a rant now, but I'm really passionate because I've just been learning a lot and being really passionate. I said that twice now.
It's all good.
Because like all the shit I've been listening to with Tom, and he's like been really inspiring me recently. That's why I'm really focused on these shorts. Because I guess what I'm trying to do is bring value to the listener or viewer, and also find out how I create this, like, my form of storytelling and creative, and learn as you were when you were in the unknown. Right now I'm in the unknown, and I'm putting systems in place to build the engines for myself, for my personal brand, for my business. Everything's interconnected in a sense. With this podcast.
You're building the machine.
Slowly. It's a slow growth thing. And because, like, I took the Myers-Briggs test. I was listening to Sam Ovens. He was take the Myers-Briggs test. I'm like, okay.
It'll change your life.
Did you take it?
I took it a long time ago. I forgot what I am. I think I'm an ENFP. I don't
Dude,
even
we're the
know
same.
what it is. Are we?
Yeah.
No way.
Well, I'm ENFPA.
I
like
can't remember which one I am.
campaigner personality.
So there's just A and B, or are there more?
There's A and there's something. I'm still kind of studying it, but the main takeaway for me was, like, there was this quote, and I talked about it a little bit on episode 2 of the podcast. There was this quote that said, like, I want to read it now. I don't know. Okay, I don't want to read it. Basically, I don't care how old you are. I don't care, what work you're doing. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool, for love, to follow your heart's desire. If you're willing to do that, like, you're the kind of person I want in my life. If that makes sense. It's hitting you too, because you're an ENFP.
Exactly.
And that when I read that quote, I butchered the quote anyway, but like something along those lines. I'm like, damn, that's me, bro. Like, in that sense, where it's kind of in the long term, I'm putting systems in place to build the engines where I'm able to operate in a way that's sustainable, and it's really coming from my essence. And another takeaway from that Myers-Briggs test was that the P is prospective, in the ENFP, and that's sort of my weakness, and it's brought light to my weakness because I overanalyze things, or I need to find out, like if I make before I make this decision or make this purchase, let's say, I need to make sure, okay, how about the other light? How's that light compared to this light? Or how about that camera compared to that camera? I need to find out if this lens is, and in that, see, you're the same as I think you're.
I'm like, oh my god, are you like I'm seeing a mirror right now, or like talking to myself right now.
Well, because we're the same. We did the Myers-Briggs test, so it's like because of that, we lose time and energy from making a decision. Whereas you need, like, that's why you need to bring in people that are the opposite of that in your world, or at least be aware of that and try to implement something in your life to counter that. But yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like that, everything you said there, I'm just like, yep, that's fucking me. There we go. Light. Oh, I was looking at lights today. What do I want next?
Yeah, you need to make sure, like, you need to know everything before you make the best decision going forward.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, what's the difference between a 60-watt light and an 80-watt light? Like, fucking idiot. Like,
20
what are
watts.
you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
my god.
It's it damages us, and like that's why I look at people like I'm getting a guest on. His name's Sev, and when I first met him, this is the guy, like I was kind of sharing off camera, that he's built his following through TikTok. When Gary V, like a couple years ago, was like you gotta get on TikTok because that's. And whereas for me, when I heard that, I'm like, oh, but I gotta overanalyze everything, and I'm still kind of doing it. But he just kept doing it, and in the process built his following, and like when I get him on the show, I want to really get some more insight on his, like, how did he overcome. But I guess he's just different, like he's the personality type, right? So and anyway, I'm kind of saying. I'm blabbering.
It's all good, bro. It's inevitable. We're gonna.
It's
blabber.
inevitable. It's inevitable.
Love your shitty art, bro.
Love your shitty art. Love your shitty art. But I don't know. Like Jerry, like it's. Should I end it now? It's been an hour. I still want to talk though. You need to go. It's
let's go. Let's chat. I have some time. Yeah.
Okay.
Until like 30 or something. I'm good.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the process of telling stories. The whole video thing, right? I know you started like. You shared a little bit about your story when you were skateboarding. Now, I want to hear more about what you've learned as you're working with clients now. You're doing your own thing with Gerard Media. What have you learned along the way in creating videos for your clients and serving your clients and the whole process of doing that? What's your biggest like learning? Did you have any moments in that time, in those times, or in times when you're working with clients in service of them? Were there any moments there that were kind of like key takeaways for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I think I told you this, but so I've been in like actual business, like actually running the business, like actually working with clients for it'll be around a year now, right? I would have hit a year now because of when I first got to Sydney, COVID hit, right? So we were in lockdown, so I wasn't really doing any work. I was just getting odd jobs and design jobs here and there. So when I first started, I didn't know unknown again. I was in my box of like, okay, well, I have this skill and I have this experience and knowledge. Like, what the hell do I do? Like, how do I get clients now? So the first kind of 6 months, the first half of my total year, it was just me like going out, getting half-day shoots, networking with other filmmakers, trying to see if they can shoot me some work, and then trying to get trying to get bigger jobs as well. That's always like that's a constant battle, right? It's like trying to get bigger jobs and not just doing the half-day shoots and bigger projects, because I had my marketing knowledge and I wanted to apply it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But over those 6 months, I just started to realize that most of the clients that I was talking to were just in it for those one-off videos. They were just in it for, oh, we just need this one social media video. How much is it going to cost? Or we've been thinking about doing a website video. How much is it going to cost? Or we just need you for a half-day shoot, right? You don't need to edit or anything. Just hand over the footage. And I was just like seeing all these people online doing so well with their video businesses, like, you know, Daniel Schiffer. I remember Brandon. I mean, he's like food specifically and product stuff, but like people like Brandon Washington, who was doing real estate. And I was seeing all these guys who were doing really well in their video business, and I was like, well, there's a disconnect here. Like, I mean, as you can tell, I'm a very impatient person. That's probably part of the Myers-Briggs test, is like you anticipate too far. And
anticipate too far. Yep.
Yeah, I was getting impatient. I was like, well, what's going on here? Like,
I'm learning.
I've been in it for a couple of months, but all of these jobs are like tiny jobs. They only need one thing. They're not repeat clients, and the work I'm doing for them is good and it looks good. But none of them are using it like I'm telling them they should. None of them understand how to implement it properly. But at the same time, I don't know how to coach them on that. You know, kind of that weird area.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So during those 6 months, I was like, well, this is not sustainable. I moved over here to start a business, and this is not the business that I foresee in the next couple of years. Like, this is not sustainable. So around December time, I was like, I got to change something. Something's got to change. And that's when I found Video Warrior. And I jumped into the course. And I've been binging kind of Marcus's content on YouTube already. Yeah. So I started.
Shout out Marcus.
That was the same. Shout out Marcus right out. And that was the same. And Nick.
And Nikoyama.
I was kind of in the same. I was kind of getting into Chris Do's stuff as well at the time. So really understanding the business side of creative entrepreneurship, understanding sales conversations, started listening to Blair Enns, David C. Baker, and those guys, Errol Gerson. And I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of mind blowing. Like, I never thought of it this way. Mm-hmm. And then I found Video Warrior, and then I jumped in the course, and that kind of sealed the deal in like, okay, well, this is what you need to do, and this is how you navigate the sales conversation, and this is how you sell, not to sell, but to provide value to your end client, and how to position yourself as the expert as well.
Yep. So
that kind of just flipped everything on its head, and I've been, since then, it's been slow but steady progress to kind of doing the work that I want to do, which is more impactful, and there's more purpose, there's more intent, and I'm starting to now lean into the strategy and the distribution and the implementation, and really helping, like, creating a system and process for my clients to actually do something with the videos.
That's beautiful.
And I'm not like flooded with work at the moment, but with the clients that I've worked with so far since that shift, it's just been a completely different world.
Yeah.
And I just know now that I have to keep building the momentum and just not get complacent and keep networking and meeting people and doing great work for my clients. And then I just need to get that machine going and get the snowball rolling.
Well, because you mentioned Daniel Schiffer there, I'm like, but you can't compare, because people see the outside, right? But like he's probably so much shit he's done for how many years, and I've been guilty as well of kind of like looking at all these other creators and video businesses, these guys that have, oh shit, they're killing it, why, and then you'll start comparing like in instinct, like, oh, why am I not killing it? But like not understanding that no one's like an overnight success. Like there's like shit that they've went through for, like, if you like when I meet some of the other warriors and like they're killing it, but then learning more about their story, they've actually been doing it for 5 years, 10 years, like for a while, and they've been grinding their ass off. And I guess what I'm trying to say, I want to segue, because you also said impact. You know, you're trying to shift it to how important is it for you that you're creating work that actually brings that impact? Because you said this to me before off camera, and it's kind of like we're the whole concept of karma marketing. Share a little bit about that, and share a little bit about why it's important for you to do more of that impactful kind of work in terms of video.
Yeah. So, I mean, the karma marketing, that's a good question, because I haven't really linked the two together in terms of like karma marketing and the impact I'm creating with my clients. Makes sense. But so karma marketing is kind of this term that I didn't even know that I came up with. Like, you guys called me out on that the first time we had a conversation, and I was just using it as kind of a thing, and just like I just think of it as kind of like karma marketing. You guys like you should take that and run with it. But
Ben, was it Ben? Shout out Ben.
Yeah, shout out Ben.
Ashley.
Radiate video.
Yeah.
So the reason I kind of basically I'll explain what it means first of all. So karma marketing to me is the idea of, if you're running a business, putting out more value into the world than you take. And everyone, value is a buzzword right nowadays, but essentially it's like shifting the lens from how can I sell more to my customers to how can I create a better buying experience for them? How can I educate them on making the right choice for them? And then positioning yourself as the person to be there for them when they need to solve that problem, for example. So karma marketing is putting out as much value and as much education and doing as many good things as a business that you can for your end client or your prospect, and reaping the rewards later. So building up as much karma. So for example, we are creating value content, right? We're creating educational content to educate our prospects, our target audience on the power of video and storytelling.
Yep.
So every time we put out a piece of that content, that's putting out good karma in the world. So I think of it as like that's one karma token that you've put in the piggy bank, right?
That's awesome.
And the more karma tokens you build up, at some point that piggy bank is just going to burst, right? It's just going to shatter because it can't take any more of those tokens, right? And then you're going to reap all of those rewards in one go. And like, I wouldn't say I've experienced this yet in my personal business. I'm in the process of doing that. But it's kind of a thing that happens not just in business, right? In life.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's in life,
the more you put out, the more that good karma is going to build up for you, and it's going to come right back around, and you're going to reap those rewards. So that's kind of the idea. And that's kind of how if I go into a strategy session with someone who's like, how can I sell more? How can I sell more? I'm like, well, you got to stop thinking about how you can sell more. You got to start thinking of how you can, help.
This is a perfect clippable moment. Hey.
Yeah. There we go. Soundbite.
No, but for real, like Seth Godin and his book Permission Marketing is like, it's the same kind of thing. Gary V's living it with the shit he's doing.
Thank You Economy, one of his books, one of his early books.
Thank You Economy
was really dope.
Yeah, it's and just I want to talk about because I just listened to Lex Friedman and Jocko Willing, but Jocko was talking about the parallels, like how Lex asked him what is jiu-jitsu to you in your life, and it's like for him jiu-jitsu is like is everything because it allowed him to build that connective tissue that translates to everything else outside of jiu-jitsu in his life. So if you go up to your boss and you want to raise, you don't go to your boss and say, hey, how come, Tony gets the raise and I didn't? You go, hey, I want to understand what it is that you're looking for to achieve, what it is you're looking for in a person to achieve in that position, to achieve that he needs to do to achieve that, or what kind of goals are you setting? What, like, more of an understanding standpoint.
Yeah.
Not in a sense that if I'm able to understand that, I'm able to bring that value because we've talked about it. So it's like in jiu-jitsu, I don't really do jiu-jitsu, but once I'm hearing more and more stories about it, makes me want to do it. But like the commonalities that I keep hearing about is just like you got to be patient, you got to relax. Like the more you flex your body, the worse. Like if you're just using power over skill, like tactical skill.
Yeah.
It's more of tactics. So it's like a mind game, chess game in terms of how you operate. So it's never just like a direct thing. So you don't go into it like, how can I sell? It's the other way around. So and it kind of correlates to that.
That's so true. Because like, it's like a lot of people go into selling thinking that it's something you do, right? You go in to sell something. It's not something that you do. It's more passive than it is active, right? It's more from a understanding,
Tell that
learning.
to Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he's a character. But yeah, it's like, you're in a learning phase, and that's actually really interesting that you brought up jiu-jitsu, because I don't know if I told you this, but I also love boxing. That's kind of something.
Dude, it's in the intro. Did I say it in the intro? I forgot to say it in the intro. Sorry.
Oh, I can't remember. But I got into boxing really recently. I'm not doing much of it now, obviously, because I can't go out and do and go into boxing gyms. But it's the same sort of thing with boxing. Is like a lot of the best boxers in the world, they won't go in the ring trying to hunt people down, right?
Yeah.
They'll go into the ring.
Muhammad Ali.
And exactly, they'll go into the ring. They'll take the first couple of rounds to kind of download the information. Right? Like they'll literally like they'll walk you around the ring, kind of see what your movements are, your reactions are, see how your footwork is. They'll kind of download all that information, and then through that, they'll be able to, in the later rounds, capitalize on that information that they download. And that's what all the best boxers do. Floyd Mayweather, Vasyl Lomachenko, they all just take those couple rounds to really understand what you do and like how they can capitalize on it. So in selling, you shouldn't really think of it like you're in the boxing ring with your client. That's not the analogy I'm trying to create, because selling is not like a conflict or anything. But it's the same sort of thing. And when you sit down with a client or you sit down with anyone you're asking money for, you should be, Blair Enns says this really well. You can either be in a state of presenting to someone, or you can either be in a state of presence. So you can either present to someone or you can be present. And he says that being present is more important, right? Because that's where you're in a learning phase. That's where you're in a state of understanding what the person in front of you is looking for. So you
gotta listen.
Like, I guess that's another lesson that I've learned is like, you're not in there to fight the client. You're not in there to one up someone. You're in there to provide a service. You're in there to help someone grow their business. So if you're looking at it from a standpoint where, let's see how much money I can get out of this person, then that's just the worst way to go about anything. Anything. It doesn't have to be in business.
No, absolutely. It's It's funny how that works, hey?
Yeah.
Because people will like, especially if you're starting out, like, oh, I want to go and make some money, but if you go at it from that standpoint, and life will just in general teach you that that's not the way.
Yeah. It's karma. It's karma, right? It's good karma.
Yeah. Karma
And
marketing.
I don't like on. I'll say this. I'll pre-frame with this. I don't know anything about the origins of karma and the roots of karma and that sort of world.
Yeah.
But just from from an average person that
Yeah,
hears
average
the
person,
word you being used, like that's really what it is. It's like it's karma marketing. Like how can you put out more karma into the world? But
And I want to shout out you and Jason, because like you guys have been, because I'm part, for the listener, if you're still here, it's been I'm part of the messaging revolution, and that's headed by Jason Lucas and Jerry Tam, Gerard. It's so weird if I say that.
it's always like, do I call him Jerry? No, yeah, Jerry's fine.
And you guys are really helping us. Like, we're learning so much about messaging, storytelling, branding, building our brand scripts, and just giving us a framework to help us and allow us to create content and evergreen content that serves the people we're looking to serve. It's really great, and it's a lot of karma tokens, and I've learned so much, and I'm honored to be a part of that group. We're kind of like the beta group, but I'm really thankful for that, and I've learned so much along the way. Built relationships, amazing relationships through that.
Yeah, dude, we're happy to have you. We're honored that you're in there, and
Revolutionaries!
Your alacrity is emanating throughout every group call.
Dude,
So
I love being there.
We love, and also you help us a lot in some cases when we're like, how do we teach this thing about like lighting and composition, and you're like there immediately like, oh, this is exactly what you need. So we're thankful for that too. That's dope.
Yeah, man. I'm just looking to help as much as I can. How can sorry, I forgot. I blanked out. I had something in my head, but I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot it now. Oh god.
Take your time, bro.
What is it about teaching that helps? Because they say like teaching helps you learn.
Yeah.
Has that been the case for you with the messaging revolution?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had. It's kind of ironic because as a rule to myself, I never like to. Well, this was something that I learned a long time, and I kind of held myself to. But I never like to take any advice from anyone that's not doing what I'm doing or not in the same industry, right? Yeah. So because it makes sense, right? You're not going to take advice from someone who hasn't experienced what you're going through or isn't doing what you're doing. So I've always been kind of reserved about teaching.
Yeah, no.
From
Kevin was talking about it as well. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Because it's that whole thing again. It's the imposter syndrome. Like, who are you to teach someone something? But I've always found myself. Okay.
Keep go.
I've always found myself in positions where people are asking me advice, and like, you don't want to be the dick that's like, hey, I have this rule that I don't teach anyone anything because I don't know what you're going through. But I've always had a knack to give people good advice. So I kind of accepted that with this messaging revolution. And when Jason was like, hey, you got some solid foundations in storytelling, I need your help. I was like, same voice came in my head. I was like, I really shouldn't be teaching anyone anything. Like, I haven't been learning storytelling for that long. Like, I haven't gotten anyone's crazy results through storytelling. I'm really just using it for myself and using the frameworks for myself and using it for some of my clients. So I don't really feel like I'm in a place to do that. But then I started thinking about like, oh, well, if you stop thinking about yourself, you stop worrying about yourself and you flip the script. And again, same thing is like when you start thinking of, well, is this going to help someone?
That's it.
Like, are you at a point where you know a little bit more, maybe just the tiniest bit more than someone else, that it could really help them and be valuable to them in their journey on whatever they're trying to do? Then why not? Why the fuck not? Just, just share that information. There's no point in keeping it in. So when I got over that, that was it kind of changed everything. And definitely like the fact that me and Jason have to strategize on how we teach and how we say things and how we frame things and how we, the actual content, like, just the fact that we have to do that and spend that time is learning.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's great.
Right? So we have to know that. We have to know that it's like kind of coaching ourselves to coach other people, because we have to review the content. We have to review these things. We have to know, well, we can't just assume that this is how brand script is. We got to do our own proper research again to look back at brand script to make sure that this is how they teach it and this is how we're going to teach it to you guys. So that process has been interesting and definitely a lot of work. Yeah. Definitely a lot of work, but it's really rewarding. So gonna definitely keep doing it, and hopefully it turns into something that
we already got one person who's curious about it, so I told it to Jason.
Yeah, I mean,
but like the thing is, like, don't undermine this. Someone shared this with me. Actually, shout out David Lisowski. He told this to me before in a VWA
shout out
call. I actually missed this morning's
call.
I've missed the last couple of weeks now. I think it's almost over a month. I've been missing the calls just because it's 5 a.m. I'm already struggling with 6 a.m.
I don't think they can
Australia
give you
US time zone
slack for that.
Is killing me.
Yeah.
But he shared it with me once, and he's like, don't undermine your baseline knowledge. Your baseline knowledge is like mind-blowing for someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, and also like with the stuff that I've been diving into Tom Boyd stuff, like when that imposter syndrome comes around, like you got to think to yourself, just don't think about the million. If you're able to help one person, if you're able to impact one person's life by sharing what it is you're doing, it's a win. It's a win. And also, like, there's also a case to be argued that I think I shared this on our messaging revolution, one of the calls. Like, if Michael Jordan was to teach a sophomore in high school about basketball, it might actually be worse because he's forgotten, or like an elementary kid about basketball, like just like the super, like that kind of level of basketball, just because he's already in a place where it's very high level and high performance.
Yeah.
It might actually be worse for that person who's learning.
Yeah.
Whereas like a person who's actually on a high school level or like just like college level would be better to teach that kid, if that makes sense. It's like an analogy anyway.
Because their experience is more to date.
And it's fresh. That's why like fresh. I'm doing the Tom Boyd's course, and I'm like just learning these things from his point of view. It's also like, and you see the results. He's blowing up now. He's like, I remember when he was like 500 followers on Instagram. It's like over 2K now, and it's not even like, it's only like 2 months or 3 months, something like that. I just heard about it from you, and like he's crushing it on TikTok. So, well, the point is, and I'm getting pulled into it because of like the impact focused creator, right? So and sorry, I'm blabbering. I'm too passionate.
No,
about it.
like that's before we hop off, because I do have to well
Yeah,
soon.
dude, I'm way past. Sorry, brother.
It's okay. But no, we could do this for hours.
For hours, yeah, for sure. But we gotta.
But that's another thing is like you said, it's all about the impact, right? It's all about the value you're bringing to whoever. Because if you think of it from not only from a learning standpoint, but from our businesses and when we work with clients, I remember the first time I pitched video to someone, and I did it from a perspective of how can I help you? How can I bring you value? How can I transform your business? How can I create impact in your business?
Yeah.
They didn't even need to ask me for a portfolio. They were like, okay, well, this is what I want. This is what the transformation I want in my business. This is the change I want to make in my business. If you're positioning yourself as a person that can do that, then I'm going to hire you no matter what. Like, I don't care if you have 20 years of experience in film or if you have this crazy portfolio. Like, I'm going to hire you because you're the person for the job, right? So it's the same sort of thing as like, if you're teaching someone and you're going to create that impact in their life or in their business, then the market decides. The market decides, right? They're the market. So if they're willing to, whatever value exchange it is, whether they're paying you money or whether you're doing a barter or whether, whatever it is, if they're willing to exchange that value, it's because they understand what value is for them. And you teaching them is going to be the value for them because they're going to see you as a person to create that impact for them. So, I guess that's the only thing that, that's
mic drop. That's it. I'm not even gonna add anything there. Gerard, Tam, thank you for coming on the show.
You.
Dude, what's happening in your world? What's happening next? Where can people find you? How can they contact you? What's your handles?
Yeah, Instagram is gerard.media. And LinkedIn, I'm Gerard Tam, and my website is just gerardmedia.io. Gerardmedia, one word, .io, like the techies. But yeah, and then
gonna be selling NFTs.
Selling NFTs. Copying, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Just the techies.
No, I was going to say Messaging Revolution stuff will be out soon as well, but that's still in development. But
let's go.
I'll put out more information on my socials if anyone's interested in that.
That's it, man. Appreciate you on the show, bro.
Appreciate you.
I'm just going to stop recording. I love you.
Love you.